Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has dangerous bloodline Sasuke bashing. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Azraelean and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Prologue. October 10, 1545. Naruto was in pain. He had been stabbed by a kunai that was unlike any he had seen before. Instead of one blade, it had 3 prongs and some seal on the handle. "A demon, now the 4th Hokage has killed you for sure, you can go to hell where you sent him. I wiped the blade so there won't be any evidence like Prince. And Mizuki will cover for me. Goodbye Demon Kitsune." Naruto didn't know what the man was talking about. He just knew he had so much pain going through his body he couldn't even stand. Iruka had had a mission assigned to him and their substitute teacher had asked him to stay after class. When everyone had left, the sub had pulled out the kunai and stabbed him in the heart. "Goodbye demon." Naruto collapsed to the floor. When Iruka came to the classroom he saw blood splattered on the window, hurrying in he saw Naruto bleeding profusely on the ground, a knife stabbed into his heart. Not thinking he grabbed Naruto and ran to the hospital. In Naruto's mind. The Kyuubi was livid. Naruto had done nothing to deserve this and he had been blamed time and time again for Madara's evil. And all this hatred directed to a child. So the idiots did it again, but this time in the heart. This is going to strain him when I heal him. Guess I have no choice though. Red chakra was suffusing the boy's body as Iruka carried him, almost making Iruka drop him. "Don't stop running you idiot, I'm keeping this boy alive, but I can't do it forever, get him to the hospital now, before he dies." "Kyuubi?" Iruka asked. "No, Santa Claus." "Hurry you moron." "Omen." Picking up the pace, Iruka arrived at the hospital. Iruka's arrival was seen by some people in the hospital. Some thought along the lines of who do we give the medal to for killing the fox? But some were thinking, not again, how often will the village try to kill the poor child? Iruka went to the emergency doctor he knew didn't hate Naruto. One sane man out of 100. After securing Naruto treatment, he went off to the Hokage's office. Iruka, I trust the mission went well." Immediately he knew something was wrong as Iruka was out of breath and his cheeks were tear-stained. "What happened?" Sarutobi asked. "Naruto was almost killed today, Hokage-sama." Iruka responded. "By whom?" the Hokage asked. "I suspect it was my substitute teacher," Iruka said. "But Naruto had one of the 4th Hokage's kunai in his heart. Also the Kyuubi talked to me through Naruto. He kept him alive. I want a full report of this and also please tell my receptionist to send for Shusu Kurenshi." "Hi, Hokage-sama." When Shusu came through the doors he thought he would get a medal. Instead he was quickly bound by the Anbu and taken to Ibiki Marino and Anko Midarashi for a interrogation session. Then, after that, he suffered a slow and painful death by one of Anko's more diabolically venomous snakes. 24 hours of pain and then death. Naruto was slowly waking up in a sewer. "Kami-sama sent me to a sewer as my afterlife. This is so not happening. Does Kami-sama hate pranks that much?" Elsewhere, Kami was laughing her head off at the latest prank she pulled on the Shinigami. She used some industrial strength super glue on his sheath so he couldn't draw his sword. "No you brat, she is actually a prankster, too." A voice emanated from a cage behind Naruto. When he turned around he saw a large fox. "Who are you?" he asked stupidly. "Kyuubi no Yoko, at your service against my will, brat," the creature said. "Wait, I thought you were dead," Naruto said. "Why do you always think I'm dead? But anyway, I am sealed into you, not dead yet, although today was a close call. But anyway, I called you here to have a talk about all that has happened to you and all that will happen to you in the future. But first, why haven't you been doing all that you are capable of in school?" "Because nobody wants to teach me anything except Iruka-sensei, and plus people hated me even more when I got good grades, so I decided to not get good grades so people wouldn't hate me so much. And look where that got you, a knife in the heart. Baka, why would you make yourself into someone else's expectations? I want you to try hard in school from now on. No excuses, no exceptions. If you want to be Hokage someday then you must graduate at the top of your class. Do that and I will activate your Kekkei Genkai." "I have a Kekkei Genkai." "What is it?" "The bloodline limit that hasn't been seen since my sealing, you have the avian bloodline. That's all I'll tell you now." "Alright then, I'll earn that bloodline. Believe it." Chapter 2. Training begins. Naruto was sleeping when Hiruzen Sarutobi came through the door to his personal hospital room. Lod picking up his chart, he looked it over. While his student was the god of medics, he knew enough to tell that without Iruka coming along when he did, even with a Biju in him he would have died. Somehow sensing his presence, Naruto's eyes opened and his eyes scared Hiruzen to death. The color wasn't their normally enchanting blue, but blood red. "Hello, Hokage-sama." A demonic voice came from the boy's lips, and it was creepy how much the bloodlust was emanating from the young boy. "Hello, Kyuubi-sama. Why are you speaking through Naruto?" the Hokage asked. "The circumstances with the kid are unacceptable. He hasn't been properly fed, nor has he been properly taught. He is going to get himself killed one of these days. I won't allow that. He wants to be Hokage, so I am going to help him. First I will need to teach him how to control his overlarge chakra. Then I will unlock his bloodline." "No." Hiruzen was in a panic at this. "Kyuubi-sama, I beg you not to. His father is famous, and if he were to unlock his bloodline, he would go to the top of every shinobi village's must-kill lists. He wouldn't survive that no matter what. Iwa would go to war with us just because he exists. He wouldn't survive to become Hokage. You can protect him. Besides, I already promised him I would if he graduated at the top of his class. He never goes back on his word. He said he would, so he will. I am not asking for your permission but your support. I will do it anyway and I will keep him alive. But if he is to unlock his bloodline, you should tell him about his lineage. I have only hinted at it so far because it would be best for him if you told it to him. He sees you as his grandfather and Iruka as his father-brother. So he needs to hear it from you. I will be waking him up and he knows I'm in him and probably has many questions." The fox, having finished his monologue, began to wake Naruto up, leaving Hiruzen no choice but to explain. Naruto was waking up from his slumber. He had many things on his mind. Foremost among them was, why is the Kyuubi no Yoko in me? But also, who is my father? "Hello, Naruto. I'm glad you are okay. Hey Gigi, I had a really weird dream. It had the Kyuubi in it. And he said I had a Kekkei Genkai and a bunch of other nonsense like my father was this village's greatest hero and the like. Isn't that rich?" Sarutobi just winced before saying, "Naruto, let me tell you a story. 12 years ago there was a village, in it lived very many people. The leader of this village was named Minato Namikaze. He was a very powerful shinobi, but he was only a man. One day he was faced with a great enemy. One no man could kill. So he was forced to sacrifice his own life to contain the enemy. But this enemy couldn't be killed because he was a demon. So instead he was forced to sacrifice his own son to be a Jinchuriki in order to save his village. Do you understand, Naruto?" Naruto had a pained expression on his face. "Oya Gigi, are you telling me that I am the Kyuubi?" "No, Naruto. I am telling you that the Kyuubi was sealed into you to prevent the death of all of Konoha," Sarutobi corrected him immediately. "And I am telling you that your father had to use you to do the sealing of the Kyuubi. But you are not the Kyuubi because the Kyuubi talked to me today. He said he wanted you to become the Rookie of the Year and that if you do he will unlock your Kekkei Genkai." Oh I see," Naruto said. "Good, because you are not the Kyuubi. Only the stupid prejudiced villagers think that," Sarutobi told Naruto. "And if you ever think that again, Kyuubi will notify me and I shall be very disappointed in you." Hiruzen added this as a way to make Naruto believe in himself again. "From now on, I want you to be the best student in Konoha history. Both Kyuubi and I will help you learn from now until the end of the school year. If you are named Rookie of the Year, Kyuubi will activate your bloodline limit, which is probably the strongest in Konoha, and don't say that to Sasuke, he would throw a bigger fit than he will already if he heard I'd said that. Also get some better looking clothes than that jumpsuit. No one will take you seriously if you are always wearing orange." "Okay, Oya Gigi. I will change my outfit. Thank you. And good luck with Kyuubi's training. I shudder to think of what a demon would expect a person to go through as training." In his mind, the Kyuubi paused in his plotting and grinned evilly at that comment and making the weight he had planned for Naruto's physical training that much heavier. After he was done, he then told Naruto to be safe and wished him luck on his training. He would need it with what Kyuubi had planned for him. Slave Driver didn't begin to cover Kyuubi's personality when it came to what he had planned for Naruto. Naruto was released from the hospital early the next morning. Listen up, I want you to get your butt over to Konoha Library and pick up 2 books on chakra control, 1 book on Taijutsu, and 3 books on ninjutsu. We need to step up your training right now. First though, I want you to learn a jutsu I will show you. It is called the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. It is a necessity that you learn that jutsu first. Okay, Kyuubi?" So began 7 months of training. Chapter 3. The Fruits of His Labors. The next day held many surprises for Konohagakure no Sado. First, the shinobi were on red alert due to the fact that no prank had been pulled the day after Naruto was cooped up. Most were thinking along the lines of, a failed assassination will almost definitely cause the fox to do some sort of evil to us. What will the prank be? Would Naruto go so far as to blow up a building? The prank this time was the work of the Kyuubi though. And it was a long-term prank. A 7-month-long stint of no pranks whatsoever. This was the most diabolical prank yet. With each passing day, the shinobi would be more and more tense, expecting Naruto to do something all the more evil due to the lapse in time. Only a few breathed easy. 3 people in fact. Iruka, Sarutobi, and Kakashi. The first because he was Naruto's confidant and knew of his planned prank, the second because he always knew of any prank Naruto pulled almost immediately because of his scrying orb. And Kakashi because he was too lazy to ever get worked up over anything that wasn't Icha. In school that day, most were shocked when the blonde loudmouth didn't talk much at all. No outbursts of how the lesson was stupid. In fact, he was reading his book along with everyone else. He also got a new fangirl. It was his second to date. The first though was all the more worried about him though. Hinata gazed upon her crush in slight dismay. She always liked the brash abrasive Naruto, however he didn't seem to care too much over Sakura, so it wasn't a lost hope of being with her Naruto-kun. Sakura had a different reaction when she entered the classroom. She immediately took the seat next to Sasuke. She expected to hear the blonde ask her out again. But this was the Kyuubi's second prank. This one was personal. Sakura had rejected Naruto time and time again. Now he would be too exhausted to pay any attention to her. Kyuubi knew that Naruto and Sakura weren't meant to be. She was too abrasive and not supporting of anyone besides Sasuke. So the Kyuubi decided to prevent Naruto any more pain than necessary. And Kyuubi knew Naruto's crush on the Pinky would only bring him pain and suffering. Naruto knew deep down that Sakura would never love him, so he knew deep down to look elsewhere for a more supportive girl than Pinky. Kyuubi had had a long talk to Naruto about the Pinkette and his behavior in school in general. Flashback. What the hell do you see in that pink banshee anyway? Well, Sakura is I guess I never really thought about it before. Don't you think you should think about what you want in a mate before chasing her skirt? Hiro Kitsune. Shut up, you're just mad because you haven't gotten any in 12 years. What do you look for in a girl? Well, I guess I would like a girl who doesn't always complain too much, she should be okay to look at, but personality is more important than looks to me. She should know how to cook ramen. At this Kyuubi sweat dropped. Only a complete idiot couldn't make ramen. Add hot water, stir, and eat. So Naruto asked of Sakura if she could make ramen. She blushed and said no before punching Naruto and saying don't ask me stupid questions. Her ex-friend Ino then told Naruto that in fact Sakura had once burned the ramen she once tried to make and that she had burned the water. Sakura had added pure sodium to the water instead of salt. Laughing she said only the billboard brow could burn water. 1. Shikamaru hearing the conversation just said troublesome women. Before going back to sleep. Naruto had taken Sakura off of his possible dating people list. Naruto was mentally kicking himself for liking a girl who could burn water. In ninja training it was good. In his kitchen, not so much. The Kyuubi was doing a lucky dance in Naruto's mindscape, fans of Bleach here's your shout out. So without Sakura he looked at Ino. She was about to say no thank you when Sakura said. You did it too Ino pig. Sighing again, Naruto scratched off Ino as well. That only left one other good-looking girl in his class, Hinata Hyuga. The said girl, noticing Naruto's gaze, immediately turned brick red when Naruto saw her. He smiled and turned around, if he hadn't he would have seen the girl faint from her blush. Kyuubi however sensed it and laughed. The girl was perfect for the kid, beautiful, smart and powerful, given the right training. Kyuubi then said to Naruto. I think you should ask Hinata to go to lunch with you. She seems to want you. Shut up Hiro-sensei. Unfortunately for Naruto he shouted this out loud. Iruka had just walked in and had said hello, told Naruto to stay after class that day for a personal talk with his almost father about shouting in class and name-calling. Omen, sensei. Hinata had woken up by now and smiled as her crush seemed to be acting normal again. After class Naruto told Iruka about Kyuubi and his hero behavior. Naruto also that Kyuubi wanted him to work on chakra control before getting to the other lessons. He asked Iruka for tips and training exercises. Telling him about tree walking and water walking. Iruka then was surprised when Naruto said he was talking to Kyuubi when he said to shut up. He was sorry, but Kyuubi had suggested that Hinata wanted to do things he wasn't ready for with him. This made Iruka laugh and also tell Naruto well that eventually may be true, mostly she just wants to be his friend. And to give her a chance. Naruto telling himself that he may make a friend after so long, he rushed off to try to find Hinata and just ask her to hang out sometime. He realized he didn't know where she lived, he knew she was friends with Shino and Naruto lived close to the Aburam estate. So he sped off to see the boy. The Aburam clan was the firmest supporter of Naruto. They had tried and failed to adopt Naruto. The Hokage was one of the few who knew they regarded Naruto as a sort of brother as he also had a separate entity in him. They were blocked by the civilian council however and so he was denied a family. The Aburam estate was large but they all lived in one building like a hive and as he arrived he saw Shino training with his Kakechu. Hey Shino, can I talk to you for a minute? Glancing towards his mother for approval Shino then said, certainly Naruto-san, what is it? You're friends with Hinata Hyuga, right? Shino nodded once. Do you know where she lives? I wanted to ask her if we could hang out sometime. Shino then said, she lives in the Hyuga compound over in the richest district of Konoha. There, he said as he took out a map of Konoha and pointed to where the Hyuga compound was. Thanks, Shino. But why do you have a map of Konoha on you? I was once asked to help a person find somewhere and couldn't help them. Shino said, ever since I have kept a map with me at all times. Well, thanks, Shino. Naruto then sped off to ask Hinata to hang out. Shino was smiling as he watched the blonde run off. He was beginning to form a plan to get Hinata to get Naruto's affection. He would need Kiba and Akamaru to help him, but she was too shy for her own good. He would help her get what she desired most. Then he would get what he wanted most. Happy friends. After securing Hinata's location, Naruto went and asked the guard if he could please speak to Hinata Hyuga. The branch member knew who Naruto was. The branch house was also a supporter of Naruto. So he went directly to Hinata, telling her she had a visitor who wished to see her and would she like to see him. She had an instant where she thought it was Naruto, but then chastised herself. She knew Naruto would be training or something. Resigning herself to her disappointing life, she said the visitor could see her. 5 minutes later, she heard a knock on her door. Getting up, she went to the door, opened it, and upon seeing who it was, promptly fainted. Luckily, Naruto caught her and set her on her bed. Not knowing what to do, he sat down and waited for Hinata to wake up. Waking up, she thought it must have been a dream until Naruto noticed she was awake. Hello, Hinata-chan. I hope I didn't startle you too bad, but I just wanted to get to know you a little better. I hope you don't mind, he said it as though he was unsure of himself. No. Hinata shouted, startling not only herself and Naruto, but also the branch member who had decided to eavesdrop and watch through the wall. He then heard her say softer, no Naruto K-kun, do don't mind at all. Okay, she definitely has a crush on this boy, I should tell Hiashi-sama about this at once. Knowing him, he will twist this to either make Hinata a branch member or to get stronger. Hiashi-sama. The branch member said to his superior. I have something to report that could be very beneficial to you and the clan as a whole. Immediately at attention, he motioned for the man to continue. Hinata-sama has a visitor who I believe she has a crush on. I believe we could mold this into a way to make Hinata-sama stronger. He knew one of her ambitions was to unite the houses, and so he wished for her to become the main branch head. Really well then, thank you for notifying me of this. Oh god, does this mean I have to have the talk with her? Why Mikami-sama? He was in his mindscape kneeling in front of a picture of his deceased wife. Oh my beloved wife, what do I tell our daughter? Must I have the dread talk with our eldest daughter alone? Another bleach shout out. The man was stoic as always on the outside, even if he was in turmoil on the inside. Did he really want to use such an underhanded tactic as to use his daughter's crush as a way to make her stronger? In a word, yes. He had little choice. The elders of the clan would walk all over his eldest daughter if she kept her current mindset. So Hiashi activated his Byakugan and looked at his daughter's crush. He wore a set of black shinobi sandals. Also, he wore a black muscle shirt and black fatigues. So it is the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. Well, we never pick who we love. So if she is interested in the child, but now that I look at him, he reminds me so much of the Yondaime. He just needs the bloodline limit and he is my old teammate to the T. I should use this to unlock her true potential. He also knew the Jinchuriki desired to be Hokage and protect a village that treated him like garbage. This boy would boost Hinata's confidence, no question. Suddenly he was certain that Naruto was connected to the Yondaime by more than just a seal. Getting up and taking a break from the enemy of all leaders, paperwork, he decided to inquire of the Hokage personally. He told his assistant he was going to talk to the Hokage about a personal matter. He went to the command center of the Leaf Village. When he was granted an audience, he asked the Hokage for all the information on a young ninja to be that was showing interest in his eldest daughter. Hiruzen knew Naruto liked the pink banshee, so he wasn't as worried as he should have been. I would like to have the paperwork on one, Naruto Namikaze. The leader of the Hyuga asked. Sarutobi was shocked. He immediately activated the privacy seals. And cursed profusely while he did so. Some warning would have been nice, Hiashi. Sorry, but I needed a laugh. I was neck deep in paperwork until a branch member came to me about a boy wanting to talk to Hinata. But why haven't we let the boy's heritage be known? Everyone in the village hates the boy, thinking he killed the Yondaime. If they knew who he really was, they would kiss the ground he walked on. Yes, but Iwa would declare war immediately. Because our Jinchuriki is the son of their greatest enemy and the man who they tell ghost stories about to frighten their genin. Then think of how a man who was just a man was able to decimate their forces. Then ethnic of a Jinchuriki with that power and more. I have heard how we should make Naruto a weapon to kill all enemies with more times than the civilian council has asked to kill him. Hiashi thought of this and realized he had messed up by so brazenly mentioning the boy's lineage without warning the Hokage first. Oh well, it's not like it will be that long before the idiots start trying to give him a harem instead of a knife in the heart. He had another assassination attempt just yesterday. One of Minato's knives shoved into his heart. I sometimes wish to quit this job and just leave the idiots to kill themselves. If it wasn't for Naruto I would have by now. He always amuses me with those pranks he pulls. Speaking of which, why hasn't he pulled a prank? I would think that he would at least blow up a toilet for an assassination attempt. Don't give him ideas, I can just see my nightmare tonight. Sasuke killed by an exploding toilet and the civilians out for his blood more than normal. But he is pulling a prank right now. It's one of his more ingenious ones too. He isn't pulling any pranks at all. The people will get so nervous that they will run away at the sight of him. The Ashi laughed at the boy's inherent knack for pranking. He even had a smile as he walked back to the Hyuga compound. This just scared people all the more. 6 months 3 weeks later. Even Kyuubi was impressed with how far Naruto had come. He had already proven himself a diligent student. Heck, diligent didn't cover it. The lack of pranks had gotten the entire village nervous. Some civilians were currently on pills for hypertension. Naruto was out of his crush on Sakura. Hinata on the other hand had replaced Sakura as the smartest kunoichi in the class. She thought about how her cousin Niji's team had been set up, she did the math, and it looked something like this. Rookie of the year plus last plus smartest kunoichi equals team. She then strove to be the smartest kunoichi in the year so she could be with Naruto. He knew, for one, that she was definitely smart enough to cook ramen. His friendship with her had helped, but she was still too shy to actually seek out his attention. She had loved his nucleatedness and there were becoming less and less of those moments. She sometimes saw the knucklehead come out to play, sometimes. Like the first time they tested the transformation jutsu, he had transformed into a gorgeous naked girl with nothing but clouds to cover the special areas. Mizuki and Iruka both hit the floor with blood shooting out of their nose. But no one would call Naruto a knucklehead, mainly because after 6.5 months of serious study, Naruto had blossomed as a genius shinobi. A few villagers threw a fit when Naruto was starting to get good grades, ranting on how the Kyuubi was being taught how to exact its revenge. Naruto however had gained a pair of powerful allies on the council. Hiashi Hyuga and Shibi Abiram both were his staunchest supporters, having met the boy personally. They knew he was no demon, heck they thought he was practically a saint for never snapping and popping a shinobi-style cap in the Konoha village's ass. But Naruto had also angered some students, Ino and Sakura both were in a fury about their precious Sasuke being outshone by Naruto. He always just said once a dope, always a dope. The council seemed to agree with Sasuke. But Naruto had learned a great deal. No one would scoff at his being the Hokage, except out of the principle of the matter. Hiruzen was surprised that Naruto had managed a complete reversal, having seen how he never went back on what he said, though he should have expected it. Also, Naruto's popularity had grown somewhat among his peers. The students knew they could ask him for help and he would give it to them willingly. He wasn't a stuck-up genius like Sasuke, nor was he an undiscovered one like Shikamaru. He was a genius of hard work. XX. On the morning of the Genin exam, Naruto was not sleeping, Kyuubi was raising a ruckus. I don't care about you humans and your feelings. Pin her down and have your way with her, she wouldn't mind, I know it. She definitely wants you. Shut up Hiro Kitsune team. We are just now exploring the possibility of dating. But what if she doesn't like me like that? I value our friendship and that is a surefire way to end it. Asking anyone out can ruin a friendship. Kyuubi face faulted. A few things approach infinity. Kyuubi's chakra reserves, the universe and human stupidity, but the jury's out on the first two. The stupid human kid couldn't see a girl who loves him, he may be smarter, but he was still a knucklehead when it came to women. XX. When it was time to go to class, he shunshed it off to school. The written test was simple enough and then it was on to the practical exam. The pairing up was teachers against students. Mizuki was paired up with Naruto. You may have passed the written portion demon, but I will defeat you with ease. Naruto on the other hand was getting into his own personal fighting style. Naruto started by bowing to Mizuki who taking advantage of Naruto's action, kicked the boy hard in the gut. Don't take your eyes off the enemy ninja, those who do end up dead. Mizuki stated while thinking, I won't even have to kill him to get him out of the way, I can just go all out and defeat him easily. Mizuki then started to throw punches at Naruto who had to evade all of them, lest he be hurt. Mizuki taunted him, what's wrong, demon, can't keep up. No Mizuki, I just had to prepare myself for the match. Get ready to lose, Naruto said. He had caught the term demon, now Mizuki was going to learn that he was strong without even needing to attack. He kept playing defensively. Eventually Mizuki lost the rhythm of his attack and Naruto capitalized upon the slip-up. Rushing in, he punched Mizuki in the gut and then before Mizuki was able to recover, Naruto was at his back, a kunai at Mizuki's throat. I could kill you now for that Mizuki. Naruto whispered into the teacher's ear. You just broke the law and uttered an S-class secret. Any shinobi may kill someone who commits that act. I beat you so I am a shinobi now. I could kill you for that and I'd escape any ramifications. Then do it demon, kill me, I will just get my name placed after the fourths on the Kyuubi memorial. No, I have a better plan. Then Naruto took Mizuki's headband and used a simple fire jutsu to incinerate the headband. When Iruka saw all that went on, he looked into Naruto's eyes and knew what Mizuki had done. Iruka instead came over and to the shock of the class bound Mizuki up. And then pulled out his cell phone, calling the Anbu hotline, he requested an Anbu to transport a traitor to Ibiki for interrogation before he was executed. Iruka marveled at how much Naruto had grown over the past 6 months. He went from last to first in 6 months. He truly was a genius shinobi. And Iruka knew of the adversity he had had to deal with also. Iruka was appalled at Naruto's lousy training and taijutsu. After no one at the academy save Iruka teaching Naruto a single thing, Sarutobi was left with a student no one wanted. He couldn't do it himself, so he instructed Ebisu to do it. At first Ebisu was mad at the Hokage for wasting his time on Naruto. Eventually though, Ebisu saw through the pranks and the shouting. He saw the child, the human who had never had anyone to care for him. Ebisu saw his mistake and the mistake of the village. By judging Naruto as nothing more than a demon, he had unconsciously transmitted that hatred to Naruto. When Ebisu asked Naruto why he even kept at his exercises when he had no talent, the reply he got was what changed his entire view of the boy. Flashback. I must prove everyone wrong, I am not the Kyuubi, I am a human being who has a demon sealed in him. I can't say that to the village so I have to show it. I will protect everyone who needs it. No demon would protect something. So I will protect this village. Then the hate I feel every day will be gone. Ebisu was surprised that the boy would react to being hated his entire life to act as though he was the one who had to do something. He didn't blame anyone for his misfortune. He instead tried to prove the ones who thought it wrong. With this evidence Ebisu let his hate for the boy die. I am sorry, Naruto-san, I fear I have erred when it comes to you. It's okay, Ebisu-sensei. I don't blame you for hating Kyuubi. I just know I am different than him, so I act differently than he would. He gets weird ideas about what I ought to do sometimes anyway. I usually do the exact opposite whenever he does. That's how I know I am not Kyuubi. When he shuts up it means that I finally cracked and took antipsychotics to shut up the voice in my head. Ebisu chuckled at this, as the boy was actually kind of funny when he wasn't annoying you with things. If he didn't end up as a shinobi he could always be a stand-up comedian. XX. The taijutsu lessons had not been easier after that day, but they had been much more enjoyable. Ebisu was a good person at heart and he knew a lot about training techniques like chakra control exercises. He started out with tree climbing, which took Naruto a month's time to master, but eventually he was proficient enough to be able to at least create 20 perfect clones. That was the least amount of chakra he could use. Not bad at all really. So he was sure to pass the jutsu portion of the exam. However, the physical training was even worse when it was combined with the chakra control techniques. Eventually Naruto got an idea for another chakra control exercise. Air walking. After Naruto finally understood the concept. Hey Ebisu-sensei, Naruto said. Yes Naruto. Could a shinobi walk on a cloud? What? Of course not. Why not? I mean we learned today that clouds were just water vapor. So if water walking is walking on water, why couldn't a shinobi with enough practice walk on a cloud? Ebisu pondered upon this seemingly simple question. Naruto, I need to cut today's lesson short, rest assured I will answer your question tomorrow. What's the hold-up, sensei? I must talk with the Hokage first. Okay. Naruto said as he thought about the paper that he had to do that night on how the fourth Hokage affected the outcome of the Third Great Shinobi War. After Naruto left, Ebisu went to the Hokage's office. Sarutobi meanwhile was taking a short break from paperwork to finish his favorite student's latest masterpiece. Icha Punishment. He had a sneaking suspicion that the book would be dedicated to another of his students' continued attitude towards his favorite's research. After all, he remembered an incident quite similar to the one in the book. Jiraiya had asked Sarutobi if he would come do research with him. Fortunately, for the first time ever, he couldn't neglect his paperwork that day, so Jiraiya had to go alone. That had been the day he had been beaten to within an inch of his life. The sun shin alerted Sarutobi to an arriving ninja. Quickly stowing his book he turned to see Ebisu standing before him. Ebisu, why aren't you training Naruto right now? Hokage Domo, I was training Naruto in chakra control and he asked me a question I wanted to talk with you about. Ebisu continued with he wanted to know if it would be possible to use chakra to walk on air or something like that. I thought about it and the basics of the water walking exercise would seem to apply to this. What do you think? I think that we just might have a genius of training on our hands. I wished Tsunade were here to test it out. Have Naruto try it at the hot springs and notify me of the results. Naruto tried for an hour before he detected movements behind him. Come on out, I know you're there. Hinata stepped out and Naruto said, hey Hinata, what are you doing out here? I wish to TTR or train here today, Naruto-kun, but if you are using it, then IIC can. Nonsense, we can train together. Here, but do you know how to control your chakra at all? Hinata blushed and said. I am actually TTTH the B best in the year, having been manipulating chakra since I was 4, but why do you ask? Cause I had an idea for a training exercise to perfect chakra control. See, I was at training with Abisu sensei and we had been working on water walking, but when I fell in once, I thought about how there seems to be certain characteristics between air and water. So I asked Abisu sensei about it and he went to the Hokage and explained it to him and Naruto babbled he liked talking, while Hinata liked listening to him. So they discussed the basics of the possible air walking. Naruto later found air walking was impossible, but cloud walking wasn't. So he endeavored to find some other method of levitation. Eventually resulting in steam walking. Then flashback. Naruto and the rest of the class were waiting as they watched Iruka enter the classroom, the results are all of you passed. The rookie of the year is Iruka said drawing it out for 10 seconds of silence, Naruto Uzumaki. The class was divided down the middle, most guys, except for Kiba and Sasuke congratulated Naruto, while the girls protested save for Hinata and Lulami. Sakura's Pav. Sakura was thinking as she walked home that the entire class had seen Naruto collapse and go into convulsions just after he was declared Rookie of the Year. She wondered if he had survived. Then thought if he didn't survive then Sasuke is Rookie of the Year. Sasuke's Pav. Sasuke had been fuming to himself. The Naruto had beaten him. Sasuke Uchiha, the last elite of the village. He found no solace in Naruto having had to go to the hospital after the fight though. As he knew perfectly well nothing Mizuki had done had caused the damage. It was possibly a further insult an invalid had done better than he had. Sasuke then thought about how far he had come. He had hated Itachi with his entire being since he had killed the entire clan. Yet a sick person could beat him. Humiliate him. What does he have that I don't? I am a natural born genius. I should have thrashed that no-name baka. Is this all the power my hatred gives to me? He doesn't hate anyone yet his strength is greater than mine is. What drives him to get stronger? Deciding that he needed answers he decided to visit the hospital and question Naruto personally. At the hospital. Hinata's Pav. Hinata was worrying about Naruto. He had gone into the and hadn't come back yet. She just silently worried about him. She then felt someone watching her, she called, come on out, I know you're there. She saw Sasuke walk into view, what do you want? She asked harshly. He looked shocked that any girl would speak to him in such a way. He was used to having them falling over themselves seeking his attention, yet this girl seemed to care less about him than she did for the dope. I want to know how Naruto got so strong. What drove him? I am driven by hatred and the desire to kill someone. I was still somehow weaker than Naruto though. I need to know where he gets his strength. Hinata laughed, Sasuke got a bit angry and said, stop laughing at me. Hinata got herself under control and said, he is strong because he wants to be acknowledged for his talents and he wants to protect the village, he knows becoming the Hokage is the only way he can be acknowledged for who he is as opposed to what he is. The village hates him, he told me why, but I can't tell you without his permission. He told me he wants to protect everyone in Konoha. His desire to protect that which he finds precious drives him on. He and I trained together and he helped me train more than he trained himself. He told me that he cares for everyone in the village and so he wants to be strong enough to protect the village. But he also knows he can't protect everyone every time, so he instead wants to help the village protect itself. He actually started a club kind of thing where anyone who wants to train with other students. We all have gotten stronger and smarter. So he also has to defend his honor now that he is so highly looked upon, so there you go. Hinata concluded. So let me get this straight, he got stronger by helping others? Sasuke asked. Yes, he did. Hinata told the Avenger. Thank you. Sasuke said simply to Hinata. Inside he was in turmoil however. I went about getting stronger by being alone. He went about getting stronger by being with others. I am not sure why, but he also has more fun than I do it seems, he is better liked also, because he has a legitimate reason to be liked. I am liked for my name. He is liked for his heart. I am not sure, but I think I ought to try to help others to get stronger also. Maybe I can even attend some of his sessions and learn more. Sasuke walked out of the hospital immersed in his own thoughts. Hinata's Pav. Hinata watched as Sasuke walked away. She thought to herself, I just helped another person. I can't believe it was Sasuke. He finally figured out how to gain the good kind of power. Hinata was then startled as a nurse came stumbling out of the room. He's activated the Kiki Kekeji Genkai of the Fu 4th Ho-Ho cage. The startled man said. Hinata wasn't sure she had heard right, so she went up and asked the nurse what is Gugu going on with Naruto-kun. The nurse looked at the girl and said, the pup patient will need T2ST stay in the hospital for the night. He grew a pup hair of wings. Hinata rushed into the room, seeing a nude Naruto with a bunch of machines attached to him and his body lying face down. On his naked body, Hinata was startled to see a pair of wings. Then she noticed the fact he was fully naked. The blood rushed out of Hinata's nose as she saw what looked like two well-muscled butt cheeks. She fainted while she floated off to a pleasant dream about a naked Naruto and angels and flight and happiness. Sasuke's point of view. Sasuke was thinking alone at his home. He had gone into the secret chamber of the Uchiha. He was thinking about his family's history. Madara wanted to be the Hokage. He said. Also the Uchiha had plotted against the village because of the Shadame's appointment as opposed to Madara. As he thought about it, he saw that all the Uchiha's misery was due to Madara's not being appointed to Hokage. I think I have a way to put all the Uchiha ancestors to rest. We wanted to be Hokage. I believe I can become Hokage. Then I will end the cycle of hatred of the Uchiha. Naruto got stronger because he wants to be the Hokage. He is strong because he wants to protect the village. That evening, Sasuke was enclosed into the practice area of the Uchiha compound. He was training to use the Jutsu Kaiten. Phoenix Flower Jutsu. He was only able to use 3 flowers at any given time. He kept practicing until he was too low on chakra to train anymore. I shall be Hokage. He thought as he collapsed to his bed. I am almost at 4 flowers. I will surpass you, Namikaze. I will be the Hokage, then I shall be acknowledged as the strongest ninja in the village. Not just as the last Uchiha. I will kill Itachi. I will re-establish my clan. At his window, a man with a mask with the kanji for root was listening. Above him. Sakura's house. Sakura was elated. True love conquers all. I have Sasuke on my team. I wonder what I should wear tomorrow to impress Sasuke. I wonder. Ino's house. What happened today? I mean Iruka-sensei announced Naruto was Rookie of the Year and then he was going into spasms. I hope he's okay. I mean, he is kind of funny and he can make me laugh a lot. Ugh, my heart belongs to Sasuke-kun, not that usurper. Joji's house. Munch, munch, munch. Shikamaru's house. Troublesome to the nth degree. Shikamaru said, thinking why would he go into spasms after he won the fight. He seems to be the kid who never gets sick. I mean, he is always at school. He has never missed class due to illness. So why would he go through spasms when he has never had any issues before? Did the fight trigger something? I know sometimes bloodlines activate during a fight. So could he have activated a bloodline? It's the only explanation. But there's only one bloodline in Konoha history that affects blondes, and that is the 4th Hokage's bloodline. Is Naruto related to the 4th Hokage? But that bloodline should have activated at birth. I don't understand this, but there's something different about Naruto. As all these thoughts went through Shikamaru's mind, his father entered his room. Ah, I see you figured it out. Shikaku said. It's true, then. Naruto Uzumaki is really Naruto Namikaze? Shikamaru asked. Yeah. He responded. The two looked at each other and merely said in unison, troublesome. Shikaku then said, hey, by the way Shikamaru, I gotta go to the council meeting tonight. Do you want to get away from the only person scarier than the Hokage tonight by going with me? Shikamaru said, sorry to add, but it is almost summer, too much sunlight to watch the clouds with. Besides, the council is much too troublesome. Agreed. Said Shikaku. The council meeting room. Hokage-sama, why didn't you tell us about Naruto-sama's lineage? A civilian said. What purpose would that have served? Has the fact that his father is the 4th Hokage changed the fact that he holds Kyuubi within him? He is the same man he was yesterday when you told your children to avoid him. Frankly, it makes me sick to think of how this village ignored the 4th Hokage's request to treat him as a hero. Sarutobi paused to catch his breath. He is the jailer of the beast. Not the beast itself. I really wouldn't have blamed him much if he had snapped and killed a few people. He was treated poorly his entire life. Also, I know for a fact that you all probably want him to have the Cry Act used with him. He isn't eligible until he turns 16 anyway. So don't even think about it. Now though, he is going to have a giant target painted on his back. The entire nation of Iowa would be out for blood if they learn of his existence. Now, his status as a Jinchuriki is an even greater disadvantage, should Rai learn of him. They would try to kidnap him at once also. I can't stress enough how much danger he is in now. Finishing his monologue he then said, I am now making the fact that he is a Jinchuriki an SSS rank secret. No one may talk to anyone in the village about the fact anymore. Dismissed. He collapsed back into his chair as he thought of all that he would need to do to ensure Naruto's safety. Chapter 6. The teams. The Hayu Abinami trio revealed. When all the students were seated, Iruka stood up and said, today is the beginning of your careers as ninja. I was your teacher. But now I am your superior officer. You all are about to be given your team listings and the teacher your group will receive. The teachers are listed on the board. The teams were all divided up into different specialties. There were many recurrence teams. The Ino Shikacho trio were in the third generation, as was the espionage expert team Abu Hayunami trio. The three heirs to the respective clans were all well familiar with each other as they were friends before they were placed on teams. In fact, only two people were dissatisfied with the teams and they both revolved around Team 7. "Why does that double-backed wannabe hairstylist get to be on Sasuke-kun's team?" protested Ino. "Why do I have to be with Imo and Pinky?" shouted Kiba. "Because the Hokage deemed it appropriate," Haruka explained patiently. "Now then, you all have an hour for lunch and then you are to come back here to meet your senseis." Dismissed. Having explained everything, Haruka sunshined away. Naruto, Hinata and Shino went to Ichiraku for lunch. Then they headed back to class. When they got there, they saw that their classmates were mainly just waiting around and laying down sleeping. "We just need a group troublesome to have a class filled with Shikamaru's," Naruto joked to Hinata and Shino. Hinata giggled and even Shino smirked after hearing the butt of the joke merely reply with troublesome. The first to arrive was Asuma Sarutobi, who called on the group to follow him. Second to last was the sensei of Team 8, "My name is Gekko Hate, please follow me." Shino, Hinata and Naruto. "Oh, and Team 7 I hate to, cough, speak ill of my colleagues. Please pardon the pun, Kami-sama, I had to do it. But Kakashi Haddock is always notoriously late." Naruto, Hinata and Shino all went to the roof. When they got there they all saw Gekko Hate swallowing some pills. "Gekko-sensei, are you okay?" Naruto asked. "Yes, Naruto-san, I just have a little cough," as Alpha-sensei said. He was average looking, with a sword on his back. The sword looked much like an Anbu short sword. "Well then, let us get down to business. Tell me all about your likes, dislikes, hobbies and what your dream is," Gekko said. Naruto said, "Could you please show us, like an example? Please." "Alright, my name is Gekko Hate, my likes are swords, training, this village and especially, Yuga-chan," the Jonin said. "Now then, let's hear your likes and dislikes," Gekko said. Naruto, always the most energetic person in 100 square miles, started off. "Okay, I like training, ramen, and anyone who doesn't hate me. I dislike Sasuke, fangirls, and criminals. My dream is to be Hokage." "Alright then, you next please, Shino-san." "My likes are insect collecting, my family and my friends. My dislikes are frogs, enemies, and anything else that threatens that witcher whom I like. My goal is to someday become an honorable shinobi and an adequate clan head." Hinata, knowing she was next, said, "My name is Hyuga Hinata, my likes are cinnamon rolls, my sister, and a certain someone," she said with a blush deep as the ocean. "My dislikes are Sasuke, his fan club, and people who judge others because of something they had no control over. My dream is to someday become strong enough to be the head of the main branch of the Hyuga clan, to marry the person I like, and to someday remove my clan's practice of sealing the branch family. Thanks, well, I will meet you all at training ground 8 tomorrow at 9, got it?" "Hi sensei," said the three Genin. Afterwards Naruto said, "So do you guys want to head to Ichiraku or would you guys prefer something a bit more formal?" "I think we can go to a place a bit more formal than Ichiraku, Naruto," Shino told his friend. "After all, you chose Ichiraku last time, so it is my turn. I personally would prefer some dango. Is that okay with you too?" Sure, said Naruto. "Just so long as we don't run into Sakura. I hope our sensei isn't killed on our first C-rank mission," said Naruto to Hinata. She just nodded her head and kept up her vigilance so she wouldn't faint at her great fortune. She was Naruto's squad mate. Naruto was the son of the 4th Hokage and more importantly, she was going to be training with him quite often. Later that day. Sasuke, Sakura and Kiba all had to wait until noon before their sensei showed up. "Yo," he said simply, "my first impression of you is I don't like you." He delivered all this in a monotone. The reactions of the Genin were. "HN," said Sasuke. "Why?" said Sakura. "I don't care. I have Akamaru," Kiba said. Sakura then laid into Kiba. "Shut up, Kiba." Kakashi looked at this and thought, Kiba will probably be able to guess at my purposes immediately. I think I will have to take on a team this time, dang it. Why do I have to take a team? The last time I directed a team my best friend died. I am unfit for this job. Kakashi's inner turmoil was the only qualm of the group. That evening. Sasuke visited the old Uchiha district that night. He went to the area he was told about by Itachi so that he could remember. Sasuke was enclosed into the practice area of the Uchiha compound. He was training to use the Jutsu Kaiten. Phoenix Flower Jutsu. He was only able to use 3 flowers at any given time. He kept practicing until he was too low on chakra to train anymore. "I shall be Hokage," he thought as he collapsed to his bed. "I am almost at 4 flowers. I will surpass you, Namikaze. I will be the Hokage, then I shall be acknowledged as the strongest ninja in the village. Not just as the last Uchiha. Then I will use my resources to hunt down Itachi. Then a knock at the Uchiha's door alerted him that he had a visitor. Going to the door, he opened the door to see a man with black hair and bandages covering the entire right side of his body. "What do you want, old man?" asked Sasuke. "I have heard that you wish to become the Hokage, is this true?" Danzo said. "Yes, so what?" said Sasuke. "Why do you wish to become Hokage? Do you wish to protect this village?" "No, I want to be acknowledged as the strongest shinobi. Namikaze is the strongest academy graduate. He got that strong wanting to be Hokage so I can get that strong too." "I see," the man said. "With that attitude neither of you will ever be Hokage." "What? But Naruto is so strong. Why wouldn't he be Hokage?" "Idiot. There is more to being Hokage than being strongest," Danzo said to the Uchiha. "Then what else is there?" Sasuke asked. "The Hokage is chosen based upon one thing, desire to protect this village. If you don't have that desire then you will never be Hokage," Danzo said with finality in his voice. "Then teach me how to be the Hokage," Sasuke said. "Perfect, the boy will carry on my torch when I am gone," Danzo thought to himself. Naruto's teammates were moving around the area sparring with each other while he was meditating. After having sparred with each other for a month, they were all much more proficient with the practice Boken Gecko had made from wood for them. The blades were the same weight and look of their real blades that were being made at that time. Then Gecko came to the practice area and told them to line up. After they were gathered they all had one thing on their minds, are the blades done? It turns out they were. "Now then, you three, I want each of you to remember what you have learned over the past month. A blade without a heart behind it is just a piece of metal that may injure its user as much as their opponents. Never use a sword in anger. Just use it when it is necessary to defend something." "Hi Gecko-sensei." "Alright then, first up is Hinata's sword." Gecko then removed the first blade from the seals. It was little more than a knife and a katana handle. Hinata looked confused. "What is this, Gecko-sensei?" Gecko took the blade and ran chakra through it. The blade passed through a tree and then he gave it back to Hinata. "This blade is made of a special metal, Hinata. It was designed with the help of Hiashi-sama. The metal is special as when you run your chakra through it, it will extend a non-corporeal blade of chakra that will cut through your enemy's chakra network. It is a specially designed Juken sword to complement your Taijutsu style." He then asked her to look at the tree. When she did with her Byakugan, she gasped as she saw that the tree's nature chakra network was disrupted by the blade. "Thank you so much, Gecko-sensei," Hinata said with joy at being given a gift her father helped to make. The next sword he pulled out was another strange one, as the blade was apparently hollow, with a porous handle. "This blade is for you, Shino. It is hollow and you can place your beetles in it. When you cut an opponent, you can place beetles directly into their bodies. The sword complements your fighting style also." "Thank you, Gecko-sensei," said Shino plainly, but no less grateful than Hinata. The last sword he pulled out was still strange one. The handle looked like a pair of outstretched wings for the guard and a short handle to only be used by one hand. "This blade, Naruto, is yours. The style is frankly put simple. The blade is a katana style, but the metal is special. It is the same kind as Asuma-sen's chakra knives. If you master elemental manipulation then you should be able to extend the blade or even send out slicing waves of air. Your element will be wind as the main and lightning as the secondary. That is the way your Kekkei Genkai works," said Hade. "Now I will teach you a new jutsu to aid in your training with these swords," said the Jonin. The man went through 5 hand seals and said, "Kendonka Katana HM," while running his thumb and index finger along the blade. After he was done, he took his thumb and slid it along the blade and the children were shocked when they saw it didn't break the skin. The Genin were impressed as they all watched him teach them the seals. The next week, the three were on their way to meet at Shinobi HQ to get their mission. Naruto and Gecko were having their usual argument as they passed Kakashi's squad. "Hey you guys," said Sakura. "We just got a C-rank mission." "Oh really?" said Shino. "Yeah, we have to protect some old drunk while he finishes a bridge. This is so boring. Besides he smells like shit to boot," Kiba said angrily. Akamaru barked in agreement. When Squad 8 entered the missions room, Sarutobi looked at Naruto with a resigned expression. The 3 students would know that they were ready to go on a C rank. Unfortunately, the only C rank mission of that day was already assigned to Kakashi's squad. Naruto was not happy when he heard that the only C rank mission was assigned to Team Kakashi. "But why can't we go on a C rank mission?" he asked. Sarutobi was at the end of his rope with the subject. "Because Naruto, as I told you, we haven't been given any C rank missions, but that one so far today. Also, if the mission is high C then I can't entrust it to totally green Genin. Look at the top team of last year, Team 10 with Mido Guy as the Jonin. They waited for 4 months before even asking for a C rank. So I say the subject is closed to further discussion. If you don't stop complaining, I will give you solo capture Tora missions for a month. Naruto then shut up. That cat was evil. Capital E. Hinata thought about her crush's antics and felt bad that they hadn't gotten the mission that morning. She thought that if Gekko were only healthy then he wouldn't be late all the time. Granted the reasons he was late were much better than the legendary copy ninjas, but still. Did he have an attack every morning? Hinata was starting to think she should have a look at his lungs to see what the problem was. But she couldn't do that to him, she would have to talk to Shino-san and Naruto-kun. After their mission that day, raking leaves. The poor woman was incapable of doing her normal routine and had needed to use ninja for almost everything. She was very apologetic about causing them trouble. But Hinata and Naruto both said it was okay, while Shino just nodded behind them. The Genin were raking the leaves of her house for about 3 hours. After they were done with the mission, it was training time. Each took out their swords and used their training wheels jutsu as Naruto had called it. Then they started their forms. Gekko was teaching them how to make their own fighting style. Hinata's natural flexibility allowed for some interesting attacks. Naruto was trying to remove his brawler tendencies. But it was slow moving in the extreme. Shino incorporated his blade into his family style and was proficient enough to start writing down some katas he had thought up. His father was helping him make the katas and had already ordered his own version of Shino's sword. The trio were practicing the morning after Team 7 left when Gekko came to them and said, "The Hokage has sent for us, let's go team." Naruto, Hinata and Shino all followed their teacher to the missions room where they learned that Kakashi's squad had encountered 2 missing nin from Kurigakure. They were told to pack for 2 weeks' time and left the missions room in high spirits. After finishing their preparations, they headed out for the land of waves. Kakashi was waiting for them with his team. "They sent your squad, Gekko. I guess they thought maybe we would see more missing Kiri ninja. I don't know what they expected, but we're here so let's go." More Gakis, but hey, one is an Amikaze, so that's something. Sasuke was fuming inside his head. Why does Naruto get all the glory? Hey, let's just go. I don't want to let it out that there is an Amikaze left alive. Naruto said as he scratched the back of his head bashfully. Whatever. Said Sasuke. The 9 people continued on their way. When they arrived at a dock, there was a thick cover of fog over the water. It's lucky this fog is here. Wouldn't you agree? Tazuna asked the 2 jonin. As they continued on their way, suddenly Kiba started sniffing the air and Akamaru was hurrying into Kiba's coat to hide himself. The rest of the group however was unaware until Kiba threw a kunai into a bush. Sakura then rushed over and hit him over the head. "Don't scare me like that, Baka," she shouted, unknowingly enhancing her voice with her chakra. "Sorry Sakura," said a nearly deaf Kiba. Akamaru, meanwhile, had his head on the ground with his paws covering his ears. Kakashi was thinking, if I could teach her how to do that on purpose, Konoha's enemies would run in terror. Why do I have to help these idiots? Sasuke thought. Then suddenly Kakashi and Gekko both shouted, "Duck." Everyone was on the ground save for Naruto who had instead used his wings and jumping to evade the incoming blade. Standing on top of the sword was a man of a tall stature and wearing pinstriped pants and a harness around his chest to hold the sword presumably. Well. I can hardly believe I married Kakashi no Sharingan and Gekko hate both. What are 2 of the least finest doing with Gakus? I would think one of you would still be Anbu at least. We were needed to teach the next generation our skills, so we were both taken out of Anbu and given Gakus to train. Said Kakashi who was strangely no longer joking, his charges were surprised to hear him talk so seriously. Well, if you both don't mind could you step aside, I need to kill the man you're guarding. Zabuza asked. Team Kakashi. Assume the Manji battle formation, protect Azuna. Kakashi said. You 3 do the same, we will handle this battle. Gekko said telling them to do it or else. With Kakashi in front, the Mist Nin was waiting for them to initiate the battle. Kakashi had taken his Hidayat and had lifted it up, exposing his left eye. Let's go, said Kakashi. Hi. Gekko's response was nothing if not short. They both leapt forward towards their opponent. Naruto, Hinata, Shino, Sakura, Kiba and Sasuke were all surrounding Tazuna. Gekko reached him first, shouting out, Konoha style, Mikazuki no Mai. The 3 saw 3 Geckos take form and assault Zabuza. He deftly blocked the 3 strikes and punted Gekko back. Kakashi meanwhile used the distraction to get behind Zabuza. Placing a kunai in front of his throat he said, it's over. Not yet, Kakashi. Said Zabuza, behind Kakashi. The Zabuza in front of him then dispersed into water. Water clone. Said Kakashi as Zabuza cut through him and saw him disperse into water. Where were we? Kakashi asked behind the Zabuza. Only for it to disperse into water too. His eyes widening, he ducked the incoming blade only to be punted into the water after Gekko. They both surfaced only for Zabuza to appear behind them and start doing seals. art of the water prison. The two elite Jonin were then captured in a ball of water. Crap, shouted Kakashi. Cough. Cough. Agreed Gekko. And then there were 7. Laughed Zabuza. And then there were 7. Laughed Zabuza. Doing a few one-handed seals, a Mizu Bunshin appeared and walked onto the dry land. Hinata, Shino, Sakura and Kiba took up positions around Tazuna while the de facto leaders of the cells discussed strategy. I will try first Namikaze, you watch my back, Sasuke said. Gotcha. Said Naruto. Before they could implement this strategy though, Zabuza had already charged and kicked Naruto. Poof. Zabuza thought, a shadow clone. How? There had been no time to create one. Everyone was confused until a few shuriken flew out at Zabuza. He deflected them and sent them back from whence they came. Poof. 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 More shadow clones dispersed making Zabuza blink. This Gaki could create multiple versions of himself. Boy, what's your name? While taking a book out of his back pocket. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The boy replied. Zabuza blinked twice. Namikaze? He asked thinking he misheard. Then another of the boy appeared in front of the clone. This version however had wings on his back. Well done, Zabuza-san, I take it you were incredulous of my name without the proper feature it carries. Yes boy. Zabuza said, if the leaf had hidden a Namikaze, then he probably had special training to merit such a name. I am surprised the leaf was able to keep such a shinobi hidden from the rest of the ninja world. How did it happen? Dead men don't need to know, Sasuke said as he burst from the water behind the Mizubunshin. It dispersed and Zabuza called to the group. I tell you what, give me the bridge builder and I won't kill your senseis. Naruto laughed, instead, let me give you a counter offer. Give me back the senseis and I won't kill you where you stand. No deal kid. Having the Mizubunshin attack the kid, he was surprised when it was cut in half by the boy just unsheathing his sword. Gyuuten. Kamakiri no jutsu. He called. Zabuza blanched, this boy used a sword, of course, his sensei was Gekko Hate. Then he flapped his wings and shot a feather at Zabuza crying Yumten. Yum kunai, he ducked under it, only for Naruto to smirk. Yumten. Yum bunshin no jutsu, Naruto shouted. The clone axe kicked Zabuza's right wrist, breaking it. Ow, you brat. I'll kill you. Spinning some shuriken, he was stopped by Kakashi who held a kunai at Zabuza's throat. Not one step Zabuza Gekko had retreated as his injury was the more serious. He was standing next to Naruto and Sasuke who were both smirking, the plan was never to take you on ourselves. We were only trying to break the jutsu. Good job you two. Shouted Kakashi as he spoke, though he looked away from Zabuza only for him to duck beneath the kunai. Zabuza, dodging out from under the kunai held by Kakashi, ran to about 10 feet away. Pulling out his bingo book, he filled a page with Naruto's info. Kid, one day you may rival your father. But before then, I'll kill you and take you to Iowa. They'll probably pay a fortune for your body. You are assuming you will live, Zabuza. Kakashi said, you got me once, it won't work again. Zabuza then started to laugh. Before taking off his sword, he said. Kakashi no Sharingan, Gekko Hate, and the last Namikaze. When I kill you all I will make a mint off the 3 of your bodies. You won't survive to collect Zabuza. Kakashi shot back. Zabuza started to make seals, and Kakashi mirrored them. Water style. Water dragon missile. The two jutsu crashed into each other, causing a dome of water to develop. In front of it, the two masters stood kunai to Kubikiri. Then the two split apart. Doing more signs, Kakashi mimicked the mist nin. Zabuza thought. It's as if he's reading my thoughts. Kakashi asked. You mimic me like a parrot. I am the genuine article, no mere copycat stands a chance against me, they said in unison. You're just a pale imitation. Damn that. Freaky eye is pissing me off. How all you're doing is copying me, you can't beat me you monkey bastard. Damn you, I'll make it so you can't open that mouth again. Suddenly a shadow appeared behind Kakashi. It looked like Zabuza. That's not possible, is this one of his genjutsu? Water explosion no jutsu. Kakashi finished his jutsu and used it before Zabuza could respond. He was hit by a spiraling tornado of water. It blew him back until his back hit a tree. Zabuza gazed up at Kakashi and asked, stuttering almost as bad as Hinata around an oblivious Naruto. CC circa can you see the future? I foresee your death. Then a pair of senbon came flying out of the trees and struck Zabuza in the neck. He fell down to the ground dead. Edge, your prediction came true. The voice that spoke behind the kabuki mask was that of a boy. Who the fuck are you? Naruto asked. He is a shinobi hunter, Naruto. Nah, I don't buy it. Kiba came in and said. Why not? Asked Kakashi. For one thing, he smells like Zabuza, he has hung around with him before. Turning around to look at the shinobi hunter, there was a distinct absence of a shinobi hunter and of a dead body of Zabuza. He got away, Kakashi said. Gekko said simply. Damn. Ah well, we know how to beat him, you surely can do it again. Not so fast. We know of his capabilities, but we don't know his friend. Shino said. He was the most logical and cold of the lot of them. Well, looks like it's time to start training you all. Kakashi said. Deko looked at Kakashi with shock written all over his face. You haven't been training your students. Wheel stuff came up. And it didn't help that he is always late to getting anywhere by about 2 hours. Except if Hokage-sama threatens his porn. Sakura interjected. Really? Asked Kakashi. Yes, how else were you on time for this mission? Sakura and Kiba both screamed at him. Sasuke was the only one who didn't seem upset by his tendencies, but he got special training after sunset in ninjutsu by Danzo and his root ninja. He thought, I was given a scroll by Danzo-sama, I need to study it more, I must surpass Namikaze. I will be the Hokage. I will protect the leaf from itself, and I will kill my brother. The recovery. Zabuza was annoyed. Gato was acting like a little bitch, all because he hadn't been able to kill the bridge builder. Why the fuck did I hire you? You aren't a demon. Maybe a baby demon but not a full demon, I should have known you were worthless. Shut up. Zabuza shouted at him. There was an Namikaze plus Kakashi of the Sharingan. Those two together were too much this time, but next time I will kill them both. There is never a third confrontation between shinobi. When Kakashi woke up, he was in a modest-size home. I see you woke up, Kakashi. Gekko said. I hope you don't mind, but I already started your students on tree climbing. Gekko was incredulous on the inside. How had Kakashi been so lackadaisical on his duties? What of your students, Gekko? Kakashi asked. They are guarding Tazuna while I guard you. He responded. And Zabuza will be out for about a week after going into a death-ish state. Kakashi rubbed the back of his head while saying apologetically, okay, I guess I should have trained my team more. That is an understatement. So, what can your team do? Kakashi asked. They each have a custom sword they can use. Naruto's blade is made of the same material as Asuma's trench knives, since his elemental affinity is wind in a ninjato style. He carries it on his back and has a couple kinjutsu he uses. Hinata's sword is made of a special metal that augments chakra. We ordered it from the land of snow in order to make it. It looks like a katana's handle on a knife's blade, but when she runs chakra through it, her chakra extends the blade into a non-corporeal sword. When she slashes an opponent, she cuts through her opponent's chakra network. The Hyugas have ordered a copy for each ninja in the clan, as well as a full-length ceremonial sword made of the same metal. Then Shino has a stranger blade than either of the others is. His blade is hollow, and he keeps some kakai in his blade. When he cuts an opponent, he deposits a kakai on them, and they burrow into the opponent through the wound. It is a surefire knockout as the kakai starts to drain their chakra from within. Kakashi shuddered, what a monstrous concept. Their students seem to be taking your style of kinjutsu specialization, Gekko. Not at all, Kakashi, their blades merely augment their already existing skills. Naruto uses his Kage Bunshin more than his sword. His blade is merely a tool he uses. The most ridiculously expensive tool I know of, but a tool nonetheless. So what jutsu do they know? Kakashi asked. They have all concentrated upon their clan techniques heavily. Naruto uses about 50 clones a day to learn his clan's techniques through trial and error and scrolls. He doesn't know anything about clan techniques like shortcuts. He has the toughest time since no one can teach him much about how his clan's techniques work. I was his father's student, maybe I can tell him how I saw his dad use the clan techniques. Maybe, but they don't just fight alone, Kakashi, their true potential is in teamwork. They have been friends since they were in their second year at the academy. But personality-wise, Naruto is so socially inept that he can barely pass as polite. Hinata is trying to teach him, but it is slow going. Hinata meanwhile is slowly coming out of her shell. Her father bought her sword for her, so she saw a bit of the human side of Hiashi Hyuga as opposed to the clan leader's side. And Shino is not as much of a recluse as he used to be, but he still doesn't initiate conversations with many people. He has to be very comfortable with the person before he opens up. Thanks, I think I know what I have to work with now. Gekko, unable to resist the opportunity to get in a jab at Kakashi, said, you work. Haha, that's very funny. Kakashi said with his infamous Moku Emi no Jutsu. They were then told by a clone of Naruto that the bridge builder was returning home for the day. Having delivered the message, the clone dispersed. Kakashi was ready now to start teaching his students. It took him 2 months and an exhausting battle to get any work ethic for training his students, better late than never. When the students arrived, Kakashi asked that his team follow him to the forest on the edge of town. He needed a pair of crutches, but he got there, late as always, but this time it was excusable, since he couldn't move as fast on crutches. Meanwhile, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kiba all were waiting on their sensei. Man, where is he? Kiba said. Sasuke just said HN. And went back to reading the scroll he had brought with him. Sakura was currently concentrating on her hair in an attempt to catch Sasuke's attention. When their sensei arrived, he told them to take a kunai each and then demonstrated the tree climbing exercise. Sakura got halfway up the tree first time. Kiba tried to go up on all fours to get better traction, but he used too little chakra and fell on his ass. Sasuke made it to the top of the tree first try. Kakashi asked Sasuke. Have you done this exercise before? Yes, since you never train us, I went to someone who would train me. Sasuke replied in a so-there tone of voice. He was not about to let Naruto get ahead of him, so he trained under Danzo's shinobi, and Danzo himself met with him once a week to discuss philosophy. Sasuke took to Danzo's teachings like a duck to water. As it was in his very DNA to believe in a centralized world government, Madara inspired the philosophy after all. Kiba was currently training directly under Kakashi, who was teaching him taijutsu that would be more effective than his current style. But Sakura was the least studious, as she spent too much time fawning over Sasuke, which she did as soon as she mastered tree climbing. The entirety of Gekko's team was currently working on teamwork by having mock duels between each other. Their purpose was to not hurt each other while they used their techniques. When they had first heard Gekko's explanation, Naruto was dazed and confused. But, how will this improve our fighting skills? He had asked. A sword is designed to hurt people. A monkey with a sword can kill a man. A true swordsman can not only cut whatever they wish, but also not cut anything they don't wish to cut. Naruto, this exercise will depend on you heavily. I need 3 shadow clones, okay? Gotcha, 3 clones coming right up, Gekko-sensei. 3 clones appeared before them. Alright, you 3, I want you to practice not cutting the clones. This way there is no possibility of injury, okay clones, each of you grab a bokken. You 3 get your bokken out. Now then put some of this watercolor paint on your bokken. Now then, the point of this exercise is to not get paint on each other. This paint will not wash out, so you guys need to also only ever use these clothes when you perform this exercise. Hinata, Shino, and Naruto all used the paint and continued into the afternoon until sunset. Afterward the 3 chose to go into town to get supper instead of mooching off of Tazuna. The 3 friends were going to a local bakery to eat. The 3 ate in companionable silence while they ate. When they paid for their meal, they were surprised when the store owner was approached afterward by a couple of thugs who started to shake down the owner for the money they had spent. The 3 ninjas stopped the shakedown and killed the thugs. Afterward they gave the owner the money. When he refused, they asked why. He said that if he didn't look beat up, he would die because they helped him. Naruto was angry enough to spit. He told his teammates they were leaving, took the money and then told the man, keep a tab. Chapter 11. Information can get you killed. Gato was worried. His plans had hit a major obstacle, mainly the Leaf Ninja. He knew he couldn't hire bandits for the cleanup. Hell, he wasn't even sure that his nin could win. Numbers could always win eventually, but with a Namikaze, the numbers game was far costlier than he could afford. The last Namikaze was responsible for practically the entire Iwa nation's ninja losses in the Third Great Shinobi War. That was it. The nation of Iwa was still recovering from the yellow flash. He told his secretary. I will be in a video phone conference, do not disturb me. Ring, hello Tsuchikage's office, this is Tama, how may I direct your call? A woman's voice came over the phone. I have an important mission that I need to talk about with Tsuchikage. Gato replied. Very well sir, one moment please. Elevator music was playing. Hello, what do you want? A man asked. He was obviously irate. An Iwa. Mountains of paperwork were littering the Tsuchikage's desk. The second most dangerous enemy that Tsuchikage had ever faced was littered around him. The most dreaded foe of any leader of men. Paperwork. The old gnome was certainly not immune to the enemy of cages. Hello, this is Gato, of Gato Limited. I have an interesting bit of information to share with you, Lord Tsuchikage. A man's cool cultured voice told him. And what is that? The cage asked. I have a leaf problem that you may wish to help me with. This sounds like a D-rank mission to me. Raking leaves is hardly something we need concern ourselves with. This leaf problem happens to have wings though. Gato replied. The Tsuchikage went cold with fear. He was dead, he had to be. He died fighting a demon, for crying out loud. No one survived that. What does this problem look like? He asked. He was scared for the first time in 12 years. I had one of my hired help take a photo of my problem. I know he isn't the big fish, but fish have been known to spawn. Gato replied. May we switch to video conference? Yes. The midget replied. Pressing a button, a large screen came down from the ceiling. Here is the photo of my problem, Gato said as he came into view. The picture of the boy he showed that Tsuchikage was like a miniature version of Iwa's own personal devil. It was the man with a flea on side order, in miniature. The yellow flash reborn. The whisker marks only served to scare the cage more. The fourth Hokage was that desperate. He sealed his own son with the Kyuubi. The Tsuchikage was lost for words. This boy must die before he becomes a titan of unstoppable proportions. What would you mean Mr. Gato? Thank you for this intel. I will send a team of Iwa Jonin TT to help you with your PR problem. After he had hung up, the Tsuchikage was free to scream as loud as he pleased. The yellow flash had a son. He had turned him into a Jinchuriki to boot. The rest of Iwa was soon on high alert. The fourth great shinobi war may be on the horizon. Size equals 1, Nashade equals. Gato was satisfied with himself. He had found the solution to his problem. He was always good at outsourcing. Zabuza was pissed. He had been fired. Gato had told him that the job was too big for him to handle, and so he had gone with a better option. Haku on the other hand was glad. At least now we won't have to kill the leaf ninja. Zabuza sneered. You are too soft Haku. We are ninja. We are supposed to kill people. You are too soft. But Gato will regret this. I think it is time I pay him back for this. Gecko was keeping watch when he saw Zabuza and Haku both emerge from the trees. Immediately on guard, he drew his sword. Relax Hate. We didn't come to fight you. Gato terminated our contract. We have no reason to kill the bridge builder now. So why are you here then? I doubt you would come to tell us this out of the goodness of your heart, so why inform us of this? Gato agreed to pay me for a job, but now he hired someone else to do it for him. That pisses me off. I want to get back at him for that, so I figured I would tell you guys about what he did. Would you please get all the kiddies, Kakashi and Namikaze out here? Gecko noticed that Zabuza seemed to respect Naruto somewhat. Coughing, he entered the house and alerted the shinobi of the situation. A few minutes later the group had assembled. Okay Zabuza, what is it you wish to tell us? Gato hired some Iwa in to take my spot. I told him there was a Namikaze and he went and informed Iwa. Chirp. Kakashi was holding a lightning blade at Zabuza's throat now. If you don't give me one good reason not to kill you right now I will ram this thing so far down your throat it will tear you a new one. Malice and killer intent was leaking out of Kakashi's very soul at this revelation. I came to warn you about it, didn't I? I don't want him dead if I don't have to kill him. He isn't my enemy, he is a colleague who was working at an opposing position. It was just my job. But this isn't my job, and Haku can't survive long with me. Look at this, he will end up dead at my feet at this rate. Zabuza-sama? Haku asked with surprise evident on his face. Shut up Haku. I don't give a fuck about you, but if you survive longer you will be a better tool for me. The giant said with menace. However Naruto cut in, the demon of the mist is really just a big soft Earth. Naruto's head was now in the hollowed out portion of the demon's blade. Finish that and I take your head for a trophy. Zabuza said threateningly. Roger. Naruto said, less lightly but still not 100% serious. The Chidori died down as Kakashi saw the truth of that statement. Poof. The sound of Naruto making and dispersing a bunshin was heard. Everyone was shocked as they all looked to Naruto. Naruto looked back at the group and said. Jiji told me to always leave the bunshin at home in case of this kind of situation arising, so that he could be warned. He will tell my bunshin what he wants us to do, then have it make another bunshin, which will disperse it because it uses all the chakra it has and lets me know the plan too. Kakashi was marveling at the Hokage's ingenious use for the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. When Zabuza asked, hey. Can I come with you guys? I don't mind the missing nin lifestyle, but Haku is just not cut out for it. Poof, another bunshin appeared and disappeared, gaining Naruto approving nods from Kakashi and Gecko. In Konoha. Sarutobi was distressed. I will learn about Naruto. The clone then had a funny look to it as he asked. Hokage Jiji, Zabuza wants to emigrate to Konoha since his apprentice isn't cut out for the missing nin lifestyle. His words not mine. Sarutobi sighed. He was some days tempted to let Naruto be locked away sometimes because of all the excess paperwork he caused. Oh well, when he is the Hokage, he will have to face the Hokage's revenge, same as Minato did. Sarutobi was thinking of the fact that the next generation's Hokage always had to deal with more paperwork than they themselves caused. Although if this is the case then Naruto-kun will have to keep 20 clones working on the paperwork. Of course. Was heard throughout Konoha, Sarutobi had finally realized a way to avoid the bane of Ikage's existence and the more tedious of meetings. He then wrote a note and used a perma-stick seal on the back of it to put it in the Hokage's hat. It read the use of shadow clones could help with paperwork. Sarutobi was doing a jig before he noticed the shadow clone and Abisu who had come running when he heard the Hokage's shout. Quickly telling the clone to make another and that Zabuza could come to Konoha. He then started threatening Abisu with joint sessions with Anko and Ibiki if he ever talked about what he had seen. Then he started formulating his plan for protecting Naruto and getting the Leaf Genin home. The Land of Waves. Naruto was sitting around waiting for the clone to disperse when he got the memories back. He was crying with mirth. It took 10 minutes for him to quiet down enough to tell Zabuza he was cleared for the transfer. And then, after doing a henge to mimic the scene perfectly, did a reenactment of what his clone had seen to the amusement of the ninja and Tazuna. When he was settled down, his comrades were all wearing smiles, even Sasuke was genuine in his expression. Chapter 12. The Countdown to Absolution. On the last day of construction of the bridge, Naruto was sleeping in. Kakashi and Gekko both said he had overworked himself and so he needed to rest a bit more. Only Kakashi, Gekko, Zabuza and Haku knew better. Flashback. Okay Kakashi, so tomorrow the bridge will be completed, according to Tazuna, what are we going to do? We need to be able to keep Naruto safe from Iwa. Haku spoke up then. Excuse me, but if we need to keep Naruto away from the bridge tomorrow, then I have a solution. What is it, Haku-san? Cough cough. Well if we were to drug Naruto-san so he stayed asleep for the entire day, wouldn't that accomplish the goal? He asked the Jonin. Kakashi thought about it, as did Gekko, that could work said the scarecrow, but we might need him. True, but if he were here he could protect the villagers in case of Gato's thugs attacking here while we fight the shinobi. Alright but he would object to being left behind, so we still need to drug him somewhat so he doesn't have a chance to argue in the morning. Then it's agreed that we shall keep him here to avoid his death. Asked Haku. Agreed. The two said in unison. Then flashback. The 5 genin were on guard as soon as they saw the flashes of light, signaling usage of jutsu. Eagle formation, Sasuke, your beak. Kiba and Akamaru, take the wing spots, Sakura you take tail. The 4 went to their designated area. Kakashi meanwhile was in the center to be able to aid any student at a moment's notice. Shino and Hinata both were taking the wing positions for their falcon formation. Gekko in front with Shino and Hinata behind him side by side, their job was defending Tazuna, while the other team concentrated on the offense, since Kakashi was a better fighter than Gekko when it came to being a ninja. Zabuza and Haku were hiding in the trees. I can't believe I've gotta hide like I want to fight. The demon said. We are the line of last resort. I take out ninja that attack Tazuna and you wait in the wings for the Deus Ex Machina when it is needed. Haku said bluntly. Zabuza shivered, when Haku had on that mask, it always astonished him how cold he could be. His bloodline made flesh. Oh well, after this he won't have to wear that mask again. The cold manner didn't suit his apprentice. His apprentice was always so caring and kind, despite the demon's best efforts. Haku was preparing to throw Senbon if need be. The mask made it easier to deal with the emotional trauma killing could give to a man. He was happy that he had found some people he could call precious besides Zabuza-sama. His entire purpose for living had expanded and he was happier than ever before. He had met 11 kind people who he could protect and assist. At Tazuna's house. The Kyuubi wasn't happy. His host had been drugged by his teammates. Did they think that he would be safer on his own? Arrogant assholes. I should just make the kid kill them both. They didn't look at the long term. If the kid was on his own, it was easier for those who wished him dead to kill him. So Kyuubi had started siphoning off the poison to negate its effects, adding this to Naruto's already quick healing that had saved him from the effects of poisons in the past. Kyuubi had foiled every attempt to poison Naruto by the villagers. So he was adept at taking care of any poisons the kid could come across in his life. Naruto awoke in his room at Tazuna's to the sounds of shouting outside the house. When he investigated, he saw Inari standing up to 2 samurai. The little boy's mother was being hauled off by 2 samurai. Filling them with a single Yum kunai, he was then standing beside Inari. Good job kid. I'm sorry I was almost too late, but good job being a hero. Your father would have been proud of you. Naruto said. Inari tried to hide his tears, but Naruto noticing this said, it's okay to cry when you're happy, Inari. But I gotta go to the bridge. Your grandpa's probably been targeted there too. Thank you, Naruto, Inari said earnestly then tapping his fingers together he asked, see can I call you Nai-san? Naruto said, sure Inari Nai. I always wanted a little brother. Inari beamed and shouted at Naruto's retreating form. Go kick some butt Naruto Nai-san. Giving the boy a thumbs up, Naruto jumped into the air flapping his wings to get higher. Meanwhile, Gato was briefing the bandits he had begged, borrowed or blackmailed into helping him destroy the biggest thorn in his side. That blasted village. First it had been that Kai's a fool who had tried to oppose him, now there was a bridge builder and the idiot's father-in-law. He knew the old SOB had a grandson and a daughter. He needed them to use as hostages, he didn't think it was probable, but if Zabuza took being fired personally, then they would prepare themselves for a fight instead of becoming lax. He should have terminated all of Zabuza's future contracts and done away with him. He could have even sold the body to the Land of Rain for the ransom money. Gato smiled at the thought of more money. He simply adored the stuff. Who needed friends when he could force people to be friendly to him? Flashback. Gato was on the ground crying. His parents had been killed by a drunk shinobi who decided to try and rape his mother. When his father tried to intervene the ninja had just killed him. Gato had had it rough as a child, especially because of his height, or rather lack thereof. Being teased made him so angry. And at the orphanage he had had no one to confide in. So he plotted. He was poor so he worked hard to become rich. Becoming the biggest bookworm and nerd in the orphanage. The teasing got worse, and Gato just kept getting more and more hungry for revenge. He was proud of his accomplishments, and look at him now, almost ready to take over an entire country. Oh yes, no one would ever dare to poke fun at his height and lack of social skills when disagreement meant death. His life was nothing but hardship, and now he was taking out his anger, his frustration, and his loneliness out on Nami no Kuni. He was unable to receive love, so he chose fear instead. Then flashback. Chapter 13. Battle of Behemoths begins. The 5 genin were on guard as soon as they saw the flashes of light, signaling usage of jutsu. Eagle formation, Sasuke, your beak. Kiba and Akamaru, take the wing spots, Sakura you take tail. The 4 went to their designated area. Kakashi meanwhile was in the center to be able to aid any student at a moment's notice. Shino and Hinata both were taking the wing positions for their falcon formation. Gekko in front with Shino and Hinata behind him side by side, their job was defending Tazuna, while the other team concentrated on the offense, since Kakashi was a better fighter than Gekko when it came to being a ninja. Zabuza and Haku were hiding in the trees. I can't believe I've gotta hide like I want to fight. The demon said. We are the line of last resort. I take out ninja that attacked Tazuna and you wait in the wings for the Deus Ex Machina when it is needed. Haku said bluntly. Zabuza shivered when Haku had on that mask, it always astonished him how cold he could be. His bloodline made flesh. Oh well, after this he won't have to wear that mask again. The cold manner didn't suit his apprentice. His apprentice was always so caring and kind, despite the demon's best efforts. Haku was preparing to throw Senbon if need be. The mask made it easier to deal with the emotional trauma killing could give to a man. He was happy that he had found some people he could call precious besides Zabuza-sama. His entire purpose for living had expanded and he was happier than ever before. He had met 11 kind people who he could protect and assist. Then a man wearing a lot of armor stepped out from behind the nearest tree. Sachimutan. Sachimukiri. At Tazuna's house. The Kyuubi wasn't happy. His host had been drugged by his teammates. Did they think that he would be safer on his own? Arrogant assholes. I should just make the kid kill them both. They didn't look at the long term. If the kid was on his own, it was easier for those who wished him dead to kill him. So Kyuubi had started siphoning off the poison to negate its effects, adding this to Naruto's already quick healing that had saved him from the effects of poisons in the past. Kyuubi had foiled every attempt to poison Naruto by the villagers. So he was adept at taking care of any poisons the kid could come across in his life. Naruto awoke in his room at Tazuna's to the sounds of shouting outside the house. When he investigated, he saw Inari standing up to 2 samurai. The little boy's mother was being hauled off by 2 samurai. Filling them with a single yum kunai, he was then standing beside Inari. Good job kid. I'm sorry I was almost too late, but good job being a hero. Your father would have been proud of you. Naruto said. Inari tried to hide his tears, but Naruto noticing this said, it's okay to cry when you're happy, Inari. But I gotta go to the bridge. Your grandpa's probably been targeted there too. Thank you, Naruto, Inari said earnestly then tapping his fingers together he asked, see can I call you Nai-san? Naruto said, sure Inari Nai. I always wanted a little brother. Inari beamed and shouted at Naruto's retreating form. Go kick some butt, Naruto Nai-san. Giving the boy 2 thumbs up, Naruto jumped into the air flapping his wings to get higher. Meanwhile, Kakashi and Gekko were fighting back to back against the onslaught of Iwanin. They were the match of the best 5 of them each, but there were 2 platoons of 50 attacking them. No matter how good a shinobi you are, the only truly unstoppable foes on a battlefield were Jinchuriki. Iwa had held theirs back for their own Deus Ex Machina. When the Namikaze arrived all hell was about to break loose. But Sasuke had just finished the seals for his newest jutsu. But Squad 8. Hinata was exhausted, she had cut the chakra networks of at least 10 Iwa shinobi, but there always seemed to be another. Shino was currently using his beetles as offensive sorts where he could trap ninja in a swirling sphere of Kakechu. But with his limited supply and the ninja's jutsu, it was very slow going. Hinata had just made a minor mistake in her attacks, and an Iwanin took advantage and slashed towards the girl's jugular, going for the death blow. She ducked, but he smiled and instead punted her into a support beam of the bridge. She tumbled, limply, to the ground where there was a sickening crunch. "Nuo!" Naruto screamed and everything on the bridge stopped. So sudden was the silence that a shinobi Kakashi had just stabbed with his Rikiri was still attempting to block the strike. And then, every one of the shinobi on the bridge felt true dread. Kakashi was so startled that he was immobile. Just looking as a super dense chakra assaulted the bridge. It was not human. It was demon. The Genin were all brought to their knees because of the combined chakra and killer intent. Naruto was standing there holding Hinata's broken form. He was shaking with rage and excessive chakra. His very skin was bubbling from the chakra. He was holding the girl, and his eyes had taken on a red hue, and his pupils were slits. I don't know your names. I don't care to hear them. But you deserve to know the name of your killer. I am Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto and I will kill you all. A red chakra had surrounded the boy, and a head formed of pure chakra had taken shape. It was that of a fox's head. The assembled ninja had one thought on their minds. The Jinchuriki of the Rikubi stated it best. Oh shit. Chapter 13. The Day of Running Carnations. Author talking. Biju talking. Biju thinking. Jutsu. Human taking. Human thinking talking to the voices in their heads. P. Not much to say, other than apologizing for the accident last chapter. If you were one of the people who reviewed telling me about it, thank you, I accidentally clicked the wrong story on the update thingy. I deleted the chapter and reposted it to make sure you got another alert telling you about it. Gomenasai. Also this chapter, it's the first battle of Jinchuriki versus Jinchuriki in a death match. I'm still having problems with my computer. That plus my mode of transportation is in the shop makes it almost impossible to get a chapter up. But happy holidays, so here you go. The battle part 2. Uh-oh, every Iwa ninja thought to themselves. Deco was having a coughing fit due to the energy starting to permeate the air around them. Who wants to die first, huh? What's wrong, scared of me? Your mothers must be so proud of you, Naruto taunted the Iwa ninja. They killed his best friend. Their judgment was nigh. And their judge was the angel of death. Naruto created some cage bunshin. They pelted the enemy with feathers shot out of their wings. He was using them to fence all his opponents into one area of the field. When they were as close as he could get them, he pulled out his sword. Running chakra through it, he jumped high in the air above them and unveiled his newest jutsu. Azraelean no hand and he cried as he started slicing with his sword. The air hummed with his chakra as wave after wave of super compressed Fueton enhanced slices rained down like a holy judgment upon the Iwa forces. After about 2 minutes, the Iwa force had lost half of their remaining total to a single technique. Sasuke, Sakura, Kiba, Kakashi and Gekko looked at the blonde Genin. Shino was unreadable as always behind his glasses, and Hinata was motionless. They knew Naruto. He was a friend, but he had just killed a lot of their opponents. Zabuza was shocked like nothing before. His failed coup had been against the Six Tails. This was 1.5 times the power the Mizukage had used to defeat him. Gekko was stunned, sure, he had taught the kid Kami-Kiri to aid in his long-range arsenal, a Fueton user's greatest weakness, but still to have devised a way to perform multiple Kami-Kiri was amazing. The child's chakra reserves were monstrous. Hinata had recently regained consciousness as she was unable to sleep when her reason for improving and living was so upset. Their bond was too strong for a simple concussion to stop her from being able to comfort her soulmate. When she looked at him though, she was nearly blinded by the chakra. Realizing she still had her bloodline active, she shut it off. All of a sudden Zabuza was blasted out of the trees. Haku followed close behind. Zabuza had multiple wounds all over his body that had cauterized shut. Then a man with a boiler on his back appeared on the field. Iwa ninjas started celebrating. Their Jinchuriki was in play to combat the Namikaze. Their cries died out as Naruto sent a wave of killer intent at them. Pan was standing looking at Naruto. He was a tall and imposing man. Naruto was staring at the man, his fearful eyes glaring at him. Hello, Namikaze-san, I know it isn't very pleasant, but I must kill you. I hope you know I hold great respect for you on a personal note. But this is business. I'm sorry but you must die. I shall be your executioner. My name is Han no Jubi. Naruto's cloak of chakra resembled fire when you looked at it. And with his wings, they couldn't help but to think of a phoenix with a flaming body like that of a bird. Naruto meanwhile was still staring at Han. The Kyuubi's energy was swirling as he looked at the man. Why must we kill each other? You are like me, a Jinchuriki. Han looked at the boy. Stating his opinion on why a shinobi killed, he said, we are tools, we are swords wielded by opposing warriors. The katana doesn't need to know why it cuts an opponent. It was designed to do so. It serves its purpose. Without purpose, there would be no katana. Shinobi are merely the pawns in their superiors' games. All that matters is that our superiors' views differ. That is why shinobi must kill. Killing is necessary to prove who is correct. So that's what being a shinobi is about, killing for our views. Then I will kill so I won't have to kill anyone again. If I can avoid war through killing, I will. Naruto said. And then started to do hand seals, shouting such plus mutant. Such plus mu comma. The boiler on his back creating clouds of steam that quickly created a dome around the two Jinchuriki. Now we are trapped in here. You shall die in here, Namikaze-san. Naruto was worried. He didn't know a technique to get himself out of this dome. He didn't know any large-scale Futon jutsu that could get rid of the steam. And he wouldn't have another Gabriel's judgment in him for at least an hour. Give up. You cannot kill me yet. You aren't ready to fight another Jinchuriki yet. Even if you have Kyuubi in you, your coils can't even use a full tail of power yet, whereas I can use all 5 of my Bijuu's tails. Han said, trying to get the Namikaze to surrender and die peacefully as opposed to in pain. Han didn't care about people, but he could sympathize with a fellow Jinchuriki. That didn't mean he would spare the boy, but he would kill him painlessly. Naruto knew this to be true. Just as he was about to try an improvised Futon jutsu, he saw Han doing hand seals, shouting, Sachimu Ansatsu. A sword of steam came from behind him and pierced his heart. Naruto dodged and instead was impaled on his wing. Close to his heart. Naruto's heart had been missed by a centimeter. He fell to the invaded his vision as he realized what happened. Kuzo. He said. Han swallowed his breath. Well, he had hoped to get the boy to surrender. He had decided that the smart thing was to backstab the boy while he thought. Ninja didn't need compassion. He never got any all of his life. In Naruto's mind, Kyuubi brought Naruto before him. Baka, all that training and yet you can't kill someone 4 tails beneath you. I didn't want to kill anyone. Naruto protested. And look what happened to Hinata because of it. Kid, if you can't protect your mate, you don't deserve to keep her. Kyuubi said angrily. Han asked the Gobi, did I kill him? Fool, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki wouldn't just roll over and die. This battle isn't going to be easy at any level. The 5-tailed dolphin whore said. But the Jinchuriki is only a fresh genin, not even a teen. You sound like that fool of a Hachibi Jinchuriki. Be nice, Han scolded his Bijuu. That was as nice as I can be about that idiot from Kumo. Naruto was getting up, but Naruto wasn't in the wheel, not this time. This was Kyuubi taking over for a short time. Han looked worried. That spear should have killed this brat. I hit the heart. I thought no one can survive that. His Bijuu, then sounding smug, said in his mind. I hate to say it, but I told you so. The Kyuubi always could regenerate his limbs and you forgot about his wings, they were in the way. Reaching out his left hand, he shot a chakra paw out and it picked Han up and then smashed him on the ground. He was dragged along and the front of his armor was heavily damaged by the dragging. Han was trying to think up a solution. I can't kill him now, not with my armor damaged to such an extent. I give up. He said. He knew the kid was averse to killing him, so he used this ploy to weasel his way out of death. He stopped pumping chakra to the Such Plus mutant. Such Plus Mu, so it dispersed itself. I don't give a damn, you fool. Kyuubi said, this is the first time I got to fight in 13 years and I am having too much fun to stop now. With that, the possessed Jinchuriki formed a hand seal and created a cage bunshin. If he gave up, why keep Adakin? Naruto asked almost to himself while he wrenched the metaphysical reins from the Kyuubi. No, he hurt Hinata, don't you care about that? Kyuubi shouted as Naruto wrenched back control. Sorry for the interruption, where were we? I was almost killed and all he says is it was an interruption. This kid is unbelievable, Han thought to himself. I am almost out of chakra and I can't hope to do any more to you for now with my armor so damaged. You win this battle, Namikaze. When I was waiting in the woods I happened on a baby demon and showed it a real demon. Needless to say, the demon's retainer is still crying probably. Oh, and the Kunoichi is still alive. I suggest you leave before I rethink letting you live, Naruto responded, some anger touching his voice, but mostly it was grief at taking life for the first time and for the death of Zabuza. Tinged with relief that most of his precious people survived. Hope you enjoyed this chapter. The final chapter in Wave will happen next time. I know I said it would happen this time. Another thing people might be upset about is Naruto beating Han. Two things decided the battle. Han forgot Naruto's wings were in the way and he underestimated Naruto. Never do that, it always leads to defeat. Jutsu Corner big battle sequence. I had tons of jutsu all in Japanese, here is their translations and what they do. No hand in Gabriel's judgment. Then Kami Kiri consecutively, Such Plus Mutant. Such Plus Mu, Steam Style. Steam Cauldron. Surrounds Han and his opponent with a dome of superheated steam. Humans can't go through it as it would scald them to death. Such Plus Mutant. Sachimu Ansatsu Steam Style, Steam Assassin. Naruto Ascendant Chapter 14. Sorry for the mix-up. I realize I screwed up. Homecoming is hell. Itachi and Kisame set themselves up along the path from Wave Country to Earth Country. When the remaining Earth shinobi passed by, Itachi and Kisame struck. Quickly casting an illusion on the shinobi, making all other ninja disappear from view, Itachi approached Han. Han no Jubi, you are hard to find. Han smirked, so an assassin. I suppose I ought to have expected this kind of tactic. But it's time I got another kill in today. Since I failed my main mission I could always kill you, Itachi Uchiha. I don't think so, Mijekyo Sharingan. Itachi activated his bloodline limit. Sachimutin. Sachimu, Han stated as he set up his jutsu. and Satsu no Tsuchimu. Bursting into a bunch of crows. Itachi then rematerialized. Tsukiyomi. Han was transported instantly into the reverse world. Welcome to Tsukiyomi, here you shall be tortured for 72 hours. Let's begin. Han was immediately surrounded by 4 copies of Itachi, each with a sword. Repeatedly he was punctured by the blades. The first thrust was into his right kidney, next a blade stabbed his left lung, the next slice found Han hamstring. The cuts continued to accumulate until mercifully he died. Han regained consciousness slowly. 23 hours, 59 minutes 59 seconds to go. Itachi stated, seeming rather bored. Outside only seconds had passed. Let's go kiss him. Itachi said, clutching his left eye. In Iwa 1 week later. Inoki was upset. The most powerful Biju of Iwa was suspected to be dead and the body couldn't be found. The squad of ninja he had sent to Wave was still MIA, meaning he had no idea why they didn't come home. Sighing, he picked up his pen and started filling out the necessary forms for MIAs. He also summoned his top Anbu. I want you to go to Mount Henu no Yonachikik, tell Rashi Han is dead and he is needed once more. The Anbu, while surprised that the gnome knew all along where their second Jinchuriki was, merely nodded and left. Naruto, Hinata, Shino, Kiba, Sakura, Kakashi and Gekko were all gathered around a gravestone. Haku knelt beside the grave. Goodbye Zabuza-sama, I am sorry I couldn't protect you, he said. Meanwhile, Sasuke was writing all that had happened upon a scroll. Ninja died all the time, what was one more? But another bloodline could be added to the village, and that was a good thing. Kiri were fools to try to rid themselves of the power bloodlines afforded. Konoha was set to receive another bloodline into the fold. Danzo must be notified of such a thing. Danzo wanted powerful clans in Konoha. Haku was the next step to the total supremacy of Konoha. Pulling out a scroll, he unsealed the hawk within, sending the scroll of info to Konoha. Upon arrival in Konoha, Brute received the scroll and brought it to Danzo immediately. Reading the scroll, Danzo was surprised that one of the bloodlines of Kiri was coming to Konoha. Plans immediately ran through his mind on how to have the boy brought to him, but then he saw that the boy was already a friend of the Senju candidate. The cursed Namikaze. He said aloud. I won't be able to indoctrinate him now, but he is really too old anyway. Must start young, before any life-changing events occur. As Danzo continued on this path of thought, he started to plan for the future once more. Naruto and company were being sent off by the entire village. Come visit us sometime. One shouted after their retreating backs. What should we call the bridge? Asked Tsunami. Izuna said, how about the awesome bridge that Izuna built, earning him 2 hits on the head from Inari and Tsunami. Just joking, just joking. Seriously, though, why not the Great Naruto Bridge? That's a good name. Tsunami said. The Hokage's office. So you not only kept going on a mission with only 3 extra genin and another jonin, but both the Cra candidates, as opposed to scrapping the mission. Why did you ask for teammate anyway? Sarutobi said. Before you lose your temper, they're both okay, so it's not a big deal. There was a good chance of seeing Zabuza Mamachi, so I requested Konoha's sword expert, and anyway, we added another clan to the village, so I actually did you a favor in setting up another clan in the village. So. Favor my ass, add a bloodline, the paperwork alone for a new clan is almost as bad as a death. Now is that really true? Actually, it's even worse. Does he want to be a ninja of Konoha? No, his father figure was killed, it's all in my report. Kakashi replied. Thank God for small favors. The Hokage said, shivering. The paperwork. He suddenly shouted. After recompassing himself, he said. Send in hate. So I want to know what you were thinking accepting the blasted mission in the first place, hate. My genin were ready and a new C rank for us would take another couple months of D ranks. To borrow from our most prominently lazy clan, it would be much too troublesome to wait for a new mission with Naruto on the team. He would constantly moan about how we just gave up on our first mission outside the village. Gekko paused before continuing. And he would continue to moan and groan, and I would have to deal with that for the next year. I thought we could keep him safe for the mission's duration, and then we would have a nice A rank mission under our belts. That's all, and besides, we won. But Naruto was exposed to mass killing, Iwa is aware of him, and he is totally unprepared for them. I had hoped he wouldn't have to deal with that kind of mental trauma for some time. I will have to put you in with the review board with Kakashi. But you are excused, Gekko. Teams 7 and 8 were going out to eat. Naruto said Ichiraku but was overruled by the rest of the teams. They decided upon a barbecue restaurant and saw Team 10 there. Shikamaru, seeing the mentor, asked. What took you guys so long? I mean 2 teams for 1 mission. Biba launched into an explanation. We were sent on a routine guard mission, but the client lied about the risks, so when a team of ninjas attacked us, Kakashi-sensei asked for backup, and so Hokage-sama dispatched Hinata-chan's team as backup. We next fought Zabuza Mamachi, but before we could kill him, a ninja interrupted us, claiming. That has to be the most troublesome mission ever conceived. Shikamaru stated, thank God I wasn't involved. Don't worry Shikamaru, you'll have a fun mission sooner or later too. Fun? I would rather chase Tor alone around the village for 2 days straight. The Genin collectively shuddered at the thought of such a mission. But there is a new clan in town because of you guys. The Epic group who we were up against was shorted, so he warned us about the other ninja. But in the meantime the guy who survived doesn't want to continue being a ninja, what's up with that? The guy probably doesn't want to continue dealing with troublesome missions. Shikamaru said. I just can't understand you Shikamaru. Naruto said loudly. After their lunch teammate decided to part ways to their different homes. Along the way Naruto noticed a rock with corners and straight edges following him. Sighing in resignation Naruto called out loudly. Come on out Konohamaru. Great going boss, of course you would notice me. I told you before, Konohamaru, I am not your boss. Don't be that way, boss, we just want you to play ninja, that's all. A ninja, playing ninja, now I've seen everything, a snide and sarcastic Irish lady ghost, I mean screaming she-devil, I mean pink-haired Genin stated as she walked by the scene of Konohamaru, begging for Naruto to play with him. I want nothing to do with this. Said Naruto with finality as he walked away. After having a second look at her, Konohamaru said, geez, did you mess up trying to copy Iruka-sensei's big head no jutsu, or were you born that freaky? Sakura, who had been walking away, slowly turned as Naruto said, Konohamaru, run, now. As Konohamaru started to run he cut a corner too quickly and ran smack dab into a kabuki dancer, I mean a ventriloquist dummy, I mean Asuna Genin. He said. Hey you punk, that kind of hurt. Suddenly as the kabuki wannabe was about to wail on him, a feather struck the hand that held the frightened child, while another presence was detected. If I were you, I would put the kid down, now. Naruto said as he appeared on a tree branch. Or what, brat, you'll stop me. Or you cause a national incident by assaulting the current Hokage's grandson. I doubt your father would be happy if his own children were disqualified before the exams even start. Another voice said. Sasuke was on a branch with a rock in hand ready to fire at a moment's notice. What the hell? The Hokage has a grandson who's this tiny? Said Kankuro. Kankuro, don't cause any trouble or you know who will kill you. Temari said nervously. I bet he's far enough away to not notice, the boy started before a wave of killer intent washed over all the Genin. Kankuro, stop or I'll kill you. A new voice stated. Bara of the desert was standing on a tree, looking bored and murderous all at once. Bara, we weren't causing any trouble. Shut up Temari. Gaara interrupted his sister. I'm sorry for any trouble these two caused you. I look forward to meeting you both again. Gaara said to Sasuke and Naruto. So the exams are coming soon. Sasuke mused. Try not to die, dope. You two team? Retorted Naruto. What if Naruto has dangerous bloodline Sasuke bashing? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.